Hi guys, welcome back to Irish Footy Vlogs. Welcome back to another Rate The Transfer Rumour video. And Daz is on with us again. Daz, the video obviously where you rate the rumour between 1 and 10. 1 means it's not going to happen really. 10 means it's definitely going to happen. A couple of interesting ones have been that we've had on before have actually gone on to happen or look like they're happening. Like, you know what I mean? So that's an interesting one. Richie Towell to Dundalk looks like that's going to happen now eventually too, and others. There's one on this list that we had on before, probably one of the first rate the rumours of the season, of when I say of the season, of the off season as such, possibly even the first one actually that we did. But we'll talk about that later. Right, first of all, we've got Kean Coleman linked with a move to Dundalk FC and captain of Cork. Surprisingly, a lot of people might say didn't renew his contract or was let go, or I'm not exactly sure what happened there, but the fact is he's not a Cork City player now. Dundalk, obviously first division now, probably looking for a bit of experience in the back line. They signed Sean McHale on loan from Pats. He's only 19. And they have Mayo, who I can never say his second name. He's only 21, 22. So there's a gap there to be filled. And Kean Coleman being captain of Cork City would give them a bit of seniorship at the back, wouldn't he? How would you see that one?
Yeah, look, he's a good high defender, I suppose. As you said, like leadership qualities there with Cork. I was a bit surprised to let him go or didn't renew. I thought maybe he would have stuck around, especially if he come up to the Premier. If he goes to Dundalk, he's dropping down a division, and he's obviously going to have to relocate as well. So you have to factor that in.
Mm.
I suppose other clubs around the area, you're looking at Waterford, or you're looking up to going a bit up North
Cove?
Cork, up them.
Cove?
Yeah, yeah, you look at
Brought in a
all them
few
ones.
Cork City players already there.
But I am surprised that he didn't renew. But in terms of going to Dundalk, um, it's actually the first I've heard of it. I do know Dundalk are in the market for quite a lot of players. They are looking for a bit of leadership players. They've had a big clear out that we all know of. I think they're kind of more close to signing Richie Towell than they are maybe to signing Coleman.
Yeah, Tao looks
Um,
like he's gone, to be fair, yeah.
yeah, so I think in terms of leadership, they've got great leadership abilities there if they get him. Um, Other than that, I haven't really heard much about this one. I'm going to put it at a five. I have it kind of 50-50 because he just has to, he has to relocate, he has to move. Does he really want to go that far? It's a good bit away. It wouldn't be a bad move for him, really. It's a good project, and they're expected to win the league under a new manager in the League of Ireland. So it could be a good move for him and for the club if he does go. But I'm going to put this at 5 out of 10.
5 out of 10, Kean Coleman to Dundalk. Interested to see what happens there. Next one up is a Bowes related one, and actually had this on the list, so I did, and I found out she actually played today. We're doing this on the Friday in a friendly in a 0-0 draw against Waterford FC. But Shane Flynn, who was at Waterford FC last season, he came in the second half of the season, bit injury prone, but he's only 22, can play left back, can play left midfield. I would say he's more of a left back from what I've seen of him rather than he's not a left winger anyway, put it that way. But he can play left midfield, could probably play wing back. But I'd have him down as a left back really. And look, some of the appearances for Waterford, he was in and out, he did well, but he has suffered from injury. But obviously, the cat's out of the bag as such. He has trialled for Bowes, so how likely are you going to see this one?
Well, look, I suppose they're going to put this up reasonably high. If he's featured in a friendly today for them, it's no secret that Bows are in the market for players, and in particularly a left back.
I think they need another central midfielder, Daz, if I'm honest with you.
We need a lot of players, but we definitely need
Just for
we
people
definitely
who are watching, I'm joking. They have about 10 or 11 of them. That's my point.
no, yeah,
Yeah.
it's mad, but we definitely need a left back. At the minute, we're in a kind of a tight
A
space. It's not a
proper
lot of
left back.
a proper one, like
Not a
one that's out
midfielder
and
going
out.
into left back,
No,
i.e. Flores.
no. We need an out and out left back. Left back is your position, and that too. In terms of Shane Flynn happening it, like you said, he made a few appearances for the last season. Did okay. I haven't really seen too many,
It was
you
hard
know,
to
big.
judge him, Daz,
It's
because
hard.
he
Yeah,
had
it's
an
a hard
injury and
one.
he came in the second half of the season. And there are people that rate him, so he just needs to get fit more than anything, if I'm honest with you, and then you can judge him.
That's it. Like, and obviously, Bo's lost Jay Carroll as well. Like, the player that could have played in that position. So we are in the market for.
Yeah.
I'm going to put it reasonably high key. I'm going to put it at an 8 out of 10. I think it will happen. I would also predict us to get a player in from England or the UK on loan in the left back, left wing position who can play around that area. I do think we're going to sign him. He was obviously on trial today, like you said. I've been talking to a few people who said he actually did reasonably okay today, so that was good to hear. Obviously he's in training with the team. He's on trial, so it's likely to happen. And he's at a good age too, 22, 23, like you said, so it's a good age for him to come in. I'm going to put 8 out of 10. It's reasonably enough to happen, I think.
8 out of 10, Shane Flynn to Bohemians. Now, the next one, I'm going to go with Bows again, actually. And this is the one I was talking about where we had on before, went quiet. But Jamie Gullan to Bohemians. So it's a weird one with Jamie Gullan at the moment because he's not down as to have signed on again for Dundalk. And I've been talking to some people in Dundalk, and they seem to be not. They seem to think he may have been paid off of his contract and he's actually not at the club. But there's no actual confirmation of any of this. But that seems to be the case. Dundalk brought in Dean Ebe, of course, from Athlone. They have Owen Kenny at the club signed up as well. Jamie Gullan, I don't know, in terms of a third one, but as I said, my information seems to tell me that he's not at the club, basically. Bows are in the mark for a striker, and they need another striker. Gullan is a different type of player to Whelan. Probably doesn't score the goals you'd like him to score, but he is quite strong, can hold up the ball, gives you a different dimension. Jamie Gullan to Bows, obviously Perot hasn't gone to Bows, so do you know what I mean? They're still looking, and maybe they might go back in for Gullan now. What do you think of that one?
Yeah, Perot's gone to a Bosnian club. Devastated about that. I really thought he was going to sign for us. One got wrong.
We did mention before in the show that Bows were interested, but there was a European club interested as well.
That's it.
The longer it went on, the more it felt like he wasn't going to sign for Bows.
That's it. Like I kind of thought the same too. It's more that dragged out. I was like, oh, he's not signing. But in terms of Gullan, it's interesting you brought it up there that he might have paid his contract out to let him move on. Yeah, like that's a strange one. All right, and as you said, there's nothing else in the public to state this to confirm it that this has happened. So that's not really good for Dundalk either.
Don't do McGregor on it.
Oh yeah, yeah. But in terms of signing for Bows, he is a different dimension, and I suppose one thing that our team has, we don't really have. Well, hopefully Whelan will be, but we haven't really had last season as a striker that's going to score the goals. We kind of score the goals from different players around the pitch. So having a striker who's completely different to Whelan come in, I think could only be a good thing. It helps us change how we play. It helps us change tactically how we go up against different teams. It gives us a new way of playing. If Whelan can't get the ball, we've Gullan to come on. If Gullan's not working, we've Whelan to come on. It's really good to be able to switch them up instead of having the same kind of a striker. I think it's really a really good thing to have. Yeah, it's mad that this one came back up. I really wasn't expecting this to come up. When you're going to link the striker with, I was really expecting it to be somebody else or a player from England on loan. I really wasn't expecting Gullan to come back up. So that kind of threw me a little bit. If it is true and he has been released for Dundalk, I would say we are backing for him. At the start, I really thought we were. Obviously, we thought he went, sign back with Dundalk, but it might not be the case now. We are in for a striker, like we said. It's obvious Bows are in for a striker, but it's not everybody really around the league. So I'm going to put it at 7 out of 10. I think it's likely to happen, especially with Perot gone. If we're going to look at any other strikers, really, unless we play a fee, we're kind of looking at Scotland and England again. We're abroad. It's not too many more Irish players free that we know of that are, good enough really to start for Bows or good enough to be in and around the team. So it's a hard one. But I'd welcome him to the club. He brings something different. He's a different type of player, and I'd like to see what he can do. I'm going to put it as a 7 out of 10. I'd like him to sign.
Jamie Gullan to Bows, 7 out of 10. Now, this player is linked with Galway United. Just New Zealand strikers, played 11 times for New Zealand, scored 1 goal. Also plays a midfielder, mainly a striker though. Moses John Dyer, been linked to a move to Galway. Now, you're not going to have a clue who he is, really. I didn't until I found something out about it as well. But his latest club is Vancouver FC over in the States. Obviously, 13 appearances, 4 goals. Can't remember if I mentioned his age, but if I haven't, he's 27 years of age. Galway did sign a player today, Watts.
Welsh player.
Welsh player as well. First Welsh player has been signed by Galway, interestingly. So they're looking in the foreign market for sure. And actually, most clubs at this point of the season are looking in the foreign market. Let's be honest, because most of the League of Ireland transfers, more or less, are done, let's say. But could be an interesting one for Galway. Another club looking for a striker. How do you see that one?
Yeah, again, I have no information on this player. I don't know anything about him. This
I
is the
thought you know
first time.
everything about him, so I did.
I
Fair
look him
enough.
up in Football Manager later on, but I have a better
I was brilliant.
perspective of him then, all right. But yeah, I suppose Galway, like you said, like most clubs now, will be looking into the foreign market. The only other reason you'd be looking in the League of Ireland market is if you're going to pay a fee for a player or someone gets released, which isn't really going to happen. And there's, to my knowledge, not too many more free players floating about that are of a really good quality. Say a lot of them are kind of signed up now or kind of moved on. Obviously, New Zealand international. Just one thing I will say too, just because they're an international player doesn't mean they're any good. That was shown really with Bohs this season. 3 or 4 international players couldn't even get into the Bohs team, but still made the national team for their
Oh,
sides. So that, yeah, so
countless examples of that with players
yeah,
that
yeah.
come from the League of
Just
Ireland.
put that out there doesn't mean that they are a top-notch player, but obviously top-notch for their nation of choice. Um, yeah, what Vancouver, it's a bit of a mad move from there to Galway. You'd imagine your lifestyle and money would be really good out there versus here. So it's a bit of a mad one. I haven't seen anything about it. Like I said, look, we are looking in the foreign market. It's kind of hard to put a number on it. Like I can't say it's definitely going to happen, but I can't say it's impossible. I also don't know if you just made this up on the spot. I don't even know if he's a real player. So
Actually, he was a regen in FM, what they call a football manager, 20
regen, a
years
good
into the
regen.
season. You regen, yeah.
Yeah, regen, not like a good regen. Um, right, I'm going to put a number on it. I'm going to put it as a 5. I think that's a
All right,
safe.
all right.
Safe bet.
He's sitting on the fence. He's sitting on the
I'm
fence.
sitting on the fence. Foreign market, I don't know him. I don't know anything
Yeah.
about him. I've heard nothing about it, but I do know Galway for the foreign market. And look, we do know Ollie Horgan loves bringing unknown players, so I suppose you have to throw that in there too. I'm
Yeah,
gonna put,
Horgan does have a bit of influence with John Caulfield when it comes to signings, I have to say as well,
you know,
apparently.
and with Finn Harps used to pull players out of all these mad leagues.
Yes,
I'm
yeah.
over watching them myself. What a guy! But yeah, I'm gonna put us 5 out of 10. It would be interesting if he came to the league.
Mm.
I personally do like seeing foreign international
Mm.
players come for a league, see what you like. You can get some really good ones. You can also get some ones who are out the league the next season very quickly. 5 out of 10. Hopefully for Galway finds these fancy signs, or for Bohs fancy signs to us.
Right, so Moses Dyer, 5 out of 10 to
On Moses.
Galway United. Now this is a very similar ilk, I have to say. Another New Zealand international. He's played twice for New Zealand. 22-year-old striker Oscar van Hoosum. That's right,
Oh yeah,
Oscar van
I know
Hoosum.
him well, sir.
And he's a New Zealand international. If you heard that name, if you heard that name, you would think he's Dutch, clearly. But
He would.
Oscar van Hoosum is, or Hattum, I should say, is from New Zealand. Wellington Phoenix is the club he plays for. 1 goal on 41 appearances, dads, for Wellington
No,
Phoenix.
no, no, no,
Now,
no.
is that level above the League of Ireland? If it is, it's slightly, but that's not a great record, is it? But 20, he's only 22, so he's a young fella. Sligo are clearly looking for players, looking for a striker, and I think with Sligo Rovers, with the players they've lost, etc., they have to pull rabbits out of hats here. A player like this, if he was to come to the club, could make and break their season depending on how good and not so good they were. But yeah, another interesting one.
But I think first of all, you've pronounced his name pretty well. You've been practicing that all day, I can
I
see.
don't know about that. I don't think.
Secondly, I think on a serious note, Sligo have a lot of work to need to do this window.
Hmm.
They've a lot of positions they need to fill, and they need to get the squad together. Thirdly, I really don't see this happening. I think Sligo need to be more proactive with their signings. I don't think they can take too many risks. I think if this player was to sign for them, he could demand a heavy fee.
But do you think
One,
they're at that stage that Sligo Rovers where by they've no choice but to make risks, really, because who
yeah,
can
no,
they
but
get
like,
in League of Ireland wise if you get me in
uh,
that? Obviously, they've signed Sargent recently. Decent goalkeeper, but he's no Ed McGinty. You know what I mean? They've lost Ellis Chapman, they've lost Niall Moorhan. These are some key players for Tiger Rovers. General Wilson left the club, obviously.
roughly.
Acker left in the summer. Um, there's probably one or two more that aren't entering my head, but they've lost a lot of key players, and yeah, they're struggling to get in players that are known to the league, let's say. So they
Yeah,
kind of have to. They're
but like
outside the box thinking has to work. I feel.
I know, but come on, like one goal and 40 something appearances.
I
You're going
know
to
it
put
doesn't look great statistically.
like
Yeah.
Australia most centre backs have more goals than that. Like absolutely no way. I don't think there's anything in it. I think if you're going to look for a strike, you have to be looking at someone with goals. No matter what their division or league was in,
Mm.
one goal out of 40 something is a terrible return at any level of football. Any level of football.
Mm.
It's shocking. I don't see it happening. I really don't. I'm going to put it as a 2 out of 10. I think they're going to look elsewhere. They have to be looking for better qualities. Now, I agree with what you're saying. You have to pull rabbits out of headlights. You take a chance. You have to bring players in. They could come good. They could come bad. One goal out of 40 stuff appearance for a striker is terrible, shocking at any level. And if they do sign him, I'll be very surprised. And if he does, I hope he does well for them. But
Mm.
I just don't see it. I don't see it. I really don't. I'm going to put a 2 out of 10. I think it's unlikely. I think they'd be better off going to the UK market and getting the striker in on loan from there because they can bring him in on trial, see what he's like.
Mm.
You know, he'd be more used to. It's kind of more of a similar style, really.
Mm.
You know, going out to the New Zealand League or American League, it's different. Like one
It
goal out
depends
for
what they're looking for as well, because they have Kean who they signed, obviously, and they've Warrawoo, who's a decent striker as well. So if they'd see this guy's a third choice striker, maybe.
Cody, you're not selling them to me, though.
I'm
I,
not
I would.
selling them to you at all, am I?
I wouldn't be having a 2 out of 10. I don't think it's happening. Watch down, you'll sign now after this video.
Could be ready to be signed. But yeah, exactly. You'd be signed when we go turn off the video, basically. Yeah. So Van Hattum to Sligo Rovers 2 out of 10 says Daz. Now finally is a player be linked with, well, I say linked, it's not out in the public domain yet as far as I can see, but Conor Carty, who was at Pats a couple of seasons ago, striker, linked with a move back to Pats. He left Pats to join, went back to Bolton basically. He was on loan at Pats, went on loan to Doncaster. I think after about 5 games, he got a cruciate ligament injury. Absolute disaster for the 22-year-old. Pats are looking for a third striker. They've got Kean and Amelia, who are good too. You probably need it. You need three. I think every team needs three, pretty much. You know, three strikers. But I don't think he's featured really since that injury. So you'd be taking a bit of a chance there. Hard worker, I would say, presses brilliantly. He's a very hard worker, and his pressing is excellent. Could When he was at Pats, I thought he lacked a bit of composure though in front of goal. But definitely an honest player. How would you see that one?
Yeah, I think he's the type of player that'll give you energy up front.
Mm.
He'll work hard for the team. He'll press. He'll defend from the front. He does a lot of things that a lot of strikers don't do. So it's very good to have to come on as a player to come on. You're
I
going down.
actually thought that at times, funnily enough, he worked too hard. So he'd be pressing, say, but he'd be pressing almost the whole back line and he'd be puffed out by 60 minutes. Like, you know what I mean? Like, there was an element of that with him as well at
That's it.
times. But anyway,
If you could learn how and when to press a bit better and
yeah.
force play one way a bit better, I think he's a smashing player. I did like what I seen of him when he was in the league. I thought he was quite good. I thought the league suited his level.
Mm.
In terms of Pats, I see this as reasonably likely. Obviously, they went to 9 games win streak with Stephen Kenny towards the end of the season. You know, you've got Kenny to play for. I think Pats have a good shout with the league this season. Third, he'd be probably, like you said, second, third fiddle, which is
Mm.
no harm, really. You know, it's a good learning curve for him. He will get minutes. He will get game time. He'd be winning a winning side. He'd be in a side that has really good wingers, really good attacking play. I think it'll suit him really well. Then again, I still think there's other teams in the league that could be in for him that might offer him a bit more money too. But
Or so maybe a bit more of an avenue to play more regularly, perhaps.
that's it. Like if a team came in for him as their first team striker with more money, there's a high chance he might go to. Um, then again, it's up to him. But he liked his time at Pats. The fans liked him. He fitted well with the team, like we said. Obviously, Pats have got a great squad, a great shout at the league this season. But I would expect other teams to be in for him too. So I think if he's going to sign for Pats, it might be a few weeks. But I think it is likely. I think it's reasonably enough likely. But I think if he's going to come back, he might go to where he knows. He knows
Mm.
Pat, he knows Kenny, he knows the players. He's an affinity with the club, if you will. I'm going to put it as a 7. I just think he kind of suits Pats really well. I think it's reasonably likely to happen. I can't really see Bowes matching the money to bring him in.
His contract is up in the summer, interestingly, as well, by the way, at Bolton. But I'd imagine Bolton would be happy to let him go now, to be honest.
Yeah, I'd say they will. Like, if you're looking to ship him out on loan now,
Mm.
you presumably would take he doesn't really have a future at the club. to my knowledge, I could be wrong. He hasn't really featured at all, really, for them. I don't think he has.
Bolton? No.
Like
The
what
last
happened?
year he's been injured basically.
Yeah. So I think he is going to come back here. Like I said, good honest player. He'd be a good addition to the league. Good addition to Pats. 7/10. He's someone I really like to see in balls, but I don't think that'll happen.
Never know, actually. So Conor Carty to Pats, 7/10. Thanks, Dads, for coming on. Absolutely brilliant. Let us know at home what you think in the comments. Give us a rating out of 10. Subscribe to the channel. And once again, thank you very much for watching. Sound Dads. Excellent. Good stuff. I got you with the two foreign ones, didn't I?